All right, welcome to another edition of Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. I'm DJ Impact. We got Matt Michaels here, and we have Simon Street. A lot is going on, folks. Right now, the podcast is happening as AEW is doing Double or Nothing. So we won't have too much to talk about that. Of course, our number one commentator and analyst, Steve-O, Sin City Steve, is at AEW. So when he gets back, I'm sure he will be apprised to let us know everything he thought of the show. Nevertheless, we're here, and you may be here with us. You may be watching the show as well. Nevertheless, the great thing about doing the podcast, you can listen to it anytime you feel like it. Now, if you are watching us live, make sure you throw all of your comments inside the box, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Make sure you throw your comments there, and yeah, we'll try to get it on as we see fit. It is Memorial Day weekend, which means lots of pay-per-views are going on. You're gonna probably hear it during this wrestling talk. We had Night of Champions. We also had Under Siege. And of course, this past week, Battlegrounds. Yeah, that's next week, right?
No,
that was tonight.
Oh,
That just went off. That just went off 30 minutes ago.
Oh Jesus! Okay, yeah, I didn't even know that one. That's another one.
You didn't watch that.
I didn't watch that one. No.
It's all good. It's
Yeah.
a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And of course, we're here in Vegas. You talk about a lot going on in town as well. Lots of indie shows. I mean, we've been inundated with wrestling, folks, but we're going to get right to it. We're going to start off with our four-way stop. So here we go. All right. Let me go over to you, Simon Street, man. What highlights do you have for the week?
Well, first and foremost, although we probably won't talk a lot about Raw or SmackDown because so much went down Night of Champions. Shout out to Trish Stratus for trying to invoke strip club rules, no touching policy. I thought that was pretty creative. First thing I thought of, no touching in the club. But anyways, Night of Champions, y'all. It was really, really good and a lot of sentimental moments there, especially with Sami Zayn coming out and, representing his heritage. We'll talk a little bit about that in another show. But also, too, NXT Battlegrounds. Finally, your boy Simon Street finally got his wish, and it came true. Tiffany Stratton is the new NXT Women's Champion. And, boy, that championship looks so goddamn good on her. But for me, what stole the show was Dijak and Dragunov. That stole the whole goddamn night show. I tell you, they left everything on the damn table. Both of them walked away as stars. And then also, too, switching back over to Night of Champions, man, that match between Mustafa Ali and Gunther was good. Way better than what I anticipated it to be. I didn't think that Mustafa Ali, not that he didn't have it in him, but I didn't think that the pairing of the two would work, but it really did work well. They paced each other well. And then the last thing I will say that was really amazing is just, man, I'm telling you, man, it sucks that I didn't get a chance to watch Double or Nothing, but I will tell you right now, one thing that I know for certain is that nobody cares about the Heritage Cup or Noam Dar, but Dragon Lee was awesome. I enjoyed seeing him, but that's about it. That's my four-way stop, y'all.
Okay, all right. Let me jump over to you, Matt Michaels, man. What was your highlights this week or weekend?
I definitely agree with Tiffany Stratton. It was great to see her finally get the opportunity to win that belt. So that was nice. The match was a good match. The Night of Champions. What was interesting about this was the fact that we got Seth Rollins and AJ Styles to open that show, and it was a fucking hot match. It was unbelievable. Second straight pay-per-view or premium live event that was out of the country that was off the hook.
Yeah.
The crowd was really fucking into it. So it set a great precedent. It's nice to see Seth get that championship. Hunter giving it to him in the ring was a big deal too. That might be the way to keep Seth happy and him around. So that might be something like that. Man, talk about cool things. Zoe Stark getting aligned with Trish Stratus. Holy
Right.
shit.
That was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. I mean, talk about trusting someone who just got called up from NXT to now work with Becky Lynch. Jesus. That's going to be very interesting. So some good stuff there. Of course, that Brock and Cody story and match was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just to throw in there, man, I got a chance to look at Under Siege, and once again, man, that was actually a great pay-per-view as well. I mean, if you didn't get a chance to see it, if you read the highlights, it would make you go, man, this sounds like something I should order. The main event was Steve Macklin versus PCO in a no DQ, and I tell you, PCO just he just amazes me. This guy, it's just nothing he's not willing to do. He goes 110%, and the match was just, it was just great. Now, yes, we're talking about a stapler was involved, a sledgehammer, cookie sheet, slabs of concrete, cinder blocks. Yeah, I could just keep going with the list of all. And yes, faces were bloody, but of course, when it came to the end, Steve Macklin still ended up with holding on to that Impact World title. And what was interesting is the other stipulation was oh God, what is the boss's name? Oh, I can't think of his name.
Talking about of Impact Wrestling?
Yeah. Shit, let me look his name up.
Who are you talking about? What does he look like?
Talking about the VP? Or are you talking
Yeah,
about
the guy who's running Impact?
Santino?
No, not Santino. Come on.
Santino ain't running
Scott
that.
Tamora?
Scott
Yeah,
Demore,
Scott.
yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Yeah, Scott Demore. He had to put the title on to Steve Macklin. And after he offered to shake his hand and put the title on him, then he gets attacked by Bully Ray and Steve Macklin being put through a table that was lit on fire.
Wow.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that in a long time.
You haven't.
Remember when Edge and Mick Foley tried that shit? Didn't work out too well.
But they made it work, man. So anyway, that was definitely a big highlight for me, just watching that entire match from beginning to end. All right, let's jump over into our Too Sweet for the week. All right, let's go over to you, Matt Michaels. What was your Too Sweet for the week?
Yeah, definitely. Dijak and Dragunov was probably one of the best matches of the year. You got to check that out, DJ. That was something that was very just. They built up the story wonderfully. It was just an all-out fucking battle brawl. There was stuff that was new to, a no DQ type match or a hardcore match that really kind of hasn't been done before. So some interesting stuff in that match. Those guys worked their asses off. Braun and Carmelo Hayes had a great match. It was a good main event. Carmelo getting the win in his hometown too, so that was nice to see. Braun eating it clean too. There wasn't any jokes or anything, no foolishness. Wow. Yeah, it was pretty straightforward, and it looked. I mean, the match itself was a strong match, making Carmelo look even better as a champion. So it's freaking awesome. And we'll talk about it on 3 count, but Sami Zayn getting to be back and getting a chance to be in Saudi Arabia, and it just was phenomenal to see him and the way the crowd embraced him, even at the press conference. They went fucking nuts for him. So it was pretty impressive that he got that opportunity in that moment, and he worked so hard for the past 2 years to
Yep.
get to this point
Yeah.
where legitimately, this was, I mean, this was his WrestleMania moment, essentially.
Yeah. Simon Street, man, what you have?
Man, my too sweet for the week is definitely gonna be, to echo some of the sentiments of Sami Zayn, but more on the match with Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. Really good match. To be completely honest with you, I went in a little pessimistic because in my mind, maybe it's just me, but I knew Sami Zayn and KO weren't going to drop the belts to them. I knew 100% hands down, and not to sound egotistical, but I'm just being honest. But man, really good match, and of course the ending. The ending was really good. I know I complained last week about wanting this bloodline roller coaster ride to go, but it was so sweet to see Jimmy of all people, and not only kick Roman Reigns in the teeth, and then Jay, man, my goodness, that dude is loyal to the soil, but man, his mind is just perplexed and bogged down to the brainwashing. What they call the announcer called Roman Reigns, ultra manipulistic or some shit. I don't know, but anyways, they kept saying it over and over. He's a master manipulator. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, and then Jimmy kicks him twice and tells him straight up. So I can't wait for the fallout for that. To me, that was too sweet. I was just happy.
It was great to see Roman. It was great to see Roman get his fucking face kicked a couple times.
Yeah,
it
was amazing.
He kind of deserves it.
Yeah, but you know what was sad though? I'm gonna point this out. So you kick Roman twice. Y'all two talk about you my brother. He ain't my brother. Y'all just kicked your motherfucking real brother, left him in the damn ring. Rolled out. We talking. We trying to figure out before Roman wakes up. Y'all done left Sikoa. Sikoa shaking shit off like he just woke up to go to school. I don't know. But that was my too sweet for the week, y'all.
Yeah, also a great image looking at Roman actually on the floor looking up at Sammy, who's holding the titles. Something you thought you wouldn't see. So good stuff there. For me, man, I gotta there was a Ace Austin and Chris Bay match against a group I'm not too familiar with. I guess they go by the name of Subculture. So I was this is my first time really paying any attention to this group, and it was great. I want to see more of them. The moves that were done in the ring was just things that I haven't seen in some time. And then, of course, when you're adding what Chris Bay and Ace Austin could do in the ring, it made for a phenomenal match. So, of course, Ace and Chris ran off with that match, but it's definitely worth checking out. Also, Deonna Purrazzo beat Jordan Grace, which I guess wasn't going to be a big secret here, and that Jordan's going to take some time off. But that match,
her contract's up.
Yeah.
So it's not just she's taking time off. Her contract is literally up, and so she's going to take time off before she goes somewhere else. So
NXT.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah.
She shows up in AEW, and then
I hope
they
not.
screw her up too.
NXT, man, take her to the moon. I'm just saying.
Maybe she feels that she's done all she can do within Impact. I don't know. We'll see. It's interesting.
Well, her pocketbook probably says she's done all she can do in Impact.
And what hasn't she not done? Let's be real.
Although her isn't, we'll see. I mean, she's done the fitness. She just competed, so maybe she'll do some fitness competitions for a little bit.
She's gonna leave just when her husband gets there, and now he's irregular, and she's like, all right, I'm out now.
Well, that's nothing unusual. There's tons of couples, as we know, work two different promotions. That's normal now.
Yeah. Last match, I thought I'll give another two sweets on the same show, Under Siege. Right quick, Trinity and Giselle Shaw. I thought that match was really good. Giselle looked to me, she just came out firing a lot more than I've really seen her go hard against Trinity, and I thought it made for a really good match too. So I really didn't know where the hell that was going to go, because Trinity was, for the most part, tearing her up most of the time. So it made for a really good storyline having her and of course her cronies outside as well. One last thing, Asuka and Bianca. How can I not talk
Mm,
about that as being too
mm.
sweet as well? I love Bianca. She is a great Raw Woman Champion, and but it is definitely time for Asuka to have her moment, and I don't have a problem with that. And I think she's going to make a great heel. I mean, that I didn't see that coming. I'll be honest with you. I mean, how many more mists to the face you're gonna have? And now, when I saw her putting mist to her fingers, I'm like, what is she about to do to that? And it hit me till she started putting it on her eyes. Like it was just so great. I mean, it made for Bianca not to have that. I guess that clean 3 count. It was some of that cheating that was involved. So that was great. Shout out to Asuka. I think she's going to be a great Raw Women's Champion. So anyway, that is that. Let's move right over into WTF. So I'll kick this off. I'll make it really short. I rarely don't watch AEW, but of course they were in town this week, and I decided that hey, why not watch a little bit of what's happening in town? And I gotta tell you, listen, I haven't been following Impact for a minute either. It's been a minute since I've watched. I think I hadn't watched Impact since the last pay-per-view. Following Under Siege, I still knew what was going on. Everything made sense, and it made for a great pay-per-view. But for a show leading up for pay-per-view, I thought AEW didn't do a good job for Dynamite to be their #1 show, and leading into this big event that's happening right now, Double or Nothing. I don't know, man. It just didn't do it for me. I was questioning things that I was seeing, and I mean, of course, there was some stands out seeing the contract signing with Jericho and Adam, but and seeing MJF, of course, he's great on the mic. But after MJF, when the guys he comes out, I mean, the guys he's about to face comes out, it's like it starts to like, okay, it's Darby Allin. It didn't pump me up to really. Yeah, I gotta see this. I don't know. It just wasn't doing me any favors, and I'm not trying to be a hater, but maybe I am. Nevertheless, let me move over. Simon Street, did you have any WTS for the week?
Well, WTF, it's kind of related, but HBO Max is no more. Max is now here. Downloaded the shit to look to see. Ain't nothing different. I don't even have no goddamn giraffes or zebras in HD. None of that. But I did think about how cool would it be when I turn this bad boy on? If I'm able to watch a little AEW. And I thought about it. Hold on, let me finish. I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it. And I was like, if you said Dynamite, yes. If you said the pay-per-views, yes. But Collision Course? No. And so
what is Collision Course?
Whatever the hell, what are they calling their Saturday show?
Oh, just Collision, I think.
Oh, okay, Collision. Okay, well, yeah. and I ain't dissing it because I don't know. It hasn't happened yet. All I know is it was announced that Tony Khan had another big announcement this week saying that it will be in Chicago, and I still didn't give a shit. So that's my WTF. I know y'all were surprised that I would give AEW a little shit on that, but I just felt it was a waste of time to kind of make all that announcement. And it's not a big deal. But the biggest one that I did not understand, it came from Night of Champions, is Rhea Ripley versus Natalya. That's a hell of a way to say happy birthday to Natalya, for her to just show up and show herself out that quick. The match did not need to go on at all. Of all the times that we don't get good matches because there's not enough time and shit gets bumped on the card, like that wasn't even a necessary match. Did y'all watch that match? Was it memorable for you, Michaels?
No, she did that match because she's, I think, wrestled on every single one of those for the women, but it's her payday. They gave her, she got the payday because of her loyalty. That's all that match was to get her paid. That's all it was.
That's cute. No, I mean, hey, well, I'm happy for her to get that paper for doing
it's also work. Building up on Rhea's dominancy in the ring, you know. So one more person, you know, that you could take out that quick makes it like, wow, who's she about to knock out that quick on the next run?
Well, I can tell you that the last WTF I have is Bianca Belair and Asuka. Great match. At all the times we didn't seem to miss hit dead on the Bianca's face. This time it didn't hit, and you could see the camera keep panning back, and Bianca's like, girl, there's nothing in your damn eyes. There was this past week on Raw. There was the week prior to that, not this one. So that's the only what the.
Well, I'm not too sure if it was supposed to, because the ending of that was supposed to be with the mist in her eyes by putting her fingers in her eye. So if she would have, I think
that's what she was trying to do. If she would
have caught that mist the first time, then there would have been no purpose for that. If that was the original ending, which it seemed like it was, because she had her in the KOD, you know, during that time. So who knows? Matt Michaels, you were actually at AEW. You had great seats and everything. So you're going to probably tell us what you really enjoyed about the show and no WTFs. What you got?
Amazingly enough, I'm not going to say anything about Dynamite itself.
Oh, all right.
The reason being is there's a pay-per-view going on right now called Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
And there was a match between Taya Valkyrie, very, very respectable, you know, wrestler, and Jade Cargill, who Jade, you know, has been in a feud with Taya and working up to this pay-per-view. And Jade and Taya have their match. Jade wins, and she goes to 60-0. Oh, all right, 60-0. Then Mark Sterling gets on the microphone and says that there's no one left. She's dominated everyone, and that Jade will defend that title anytime, any place, anywhere. And Chris Statlander comes back. Chris Statlander.
Yep. Okay.
And she comes down, and the bell rings, and she beats Jade Cargill.
Wow.
Now, if you you don't think AEW is full of shit and Tony Khan has no fucking idea what he's doing, there you go.
Right.
Because that made no sense at all.
Right.
First off, Chris Statlander just coming out of nowhere. All right, so the fans know who she is. Fine. But she's been off TV. Why are you not building a match?
Right.
Right. Secondly, and most importantly, you went 60-0 with her to lose to Chris Statlander.
Right.
Without any build. It makes no sense. You just wasted Taya Valkyrie. Wasted her. To just then hand the belt over to someone who, God knows why, she should be the TBS champion. It makes no fucking sense. The company makes no sense. You know, it's maddening how they do shit like this. That really, you know, this is your pay-per-view that you've built up to, and you're going to. Now they had another title change. They had Tony Storm go over to Hayter.
Yep,
that made fucking sense. Tony Storm, former champion, lost the belt to Hayter, and they built this one up. And Lord knows that faction needs that belt because it's one of the worst factions that's ever been put together. The ripoff NWDX.
Too much green for my taste.
Yeah. I mean, Asuka spits more fucking coherent fucking spray paint out of her mouth than they spray paint on shit. So, but that match made sense. This match made absolutely no sense. And once again, and I'm not a big fan of Jade's, you know, work. I think she's been one of the ones that has gotten hand-fed something for nothing. She still needs work. She needs polishing, and there you go, 60-0, just to have someone come out and beat her with no good reason.
Come to NXT, J Cargo. You can be rebuilt to be sturdy.
I'm pretty sure it's eventually in the works.
Well, she needs to. I'm just gonna be completely honest, and I've said it before. She needs to, because I'm sorry, Michaels is 120% right, and I think even if Sin City Steve was here, he would even have to agree that yes, her title reign was the most unrealistic booking ever known to man. Like, seriously. And so if she went to any other promotion, even Impact Wrestling, it would be an insult. It would be an insult to other people who have way more pedigree, who have way more gusto. Do you see what I'm saying? To have to lay down. That to me was amateur booking. And I'm not even an expert on booking. So
there you go. All right, let's get into the lookout. All right, Simon, are you looking forward to anything, man?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking for some stuff. You know, I really didn't talk about Raw or SmackDown, but that match with Shinsuke Nakamura and Finn Balor was fire. Mm-hmm. And I've said it before, Shinsuke Nakamura stock is up, Finn Balor's stock been up, and it looks like, although the pieces have been laid in place, as we know with Night of Champions and whatnot, that makes for a very good pool for Seth to defend that title. You better believe within the realm of possibility for title defenses, you're going to have a Finn Balor. You're definitely going to have that. You're going to have that run back. But you're definitely going to have Shinsuke Nakamura. He's a bit different. He's a little bit higher octane. So super excited for that. Another thing that I'm super excited for is we talked about it earlier. You can't have a match like Dragunov and Dijak and not get the attention. And I'm not saying it because the match happened to be great. It was damn near, in my opinion, a work of art. You had things that you don't get to see in pro wrestling that you do get to see translate in the ring with New Japan. When Dragunov could barely stand up and he was flobbering from one ring post to the next ring post, told a story. Dijak dominating and having them strung up in the whatever you want to call it. I mean, like it was next level. I hope and pray that there is a bright future, whether it be in the NXT pool or down the road, to do more with them. I was definitely impressed. And if it showed up on Michael's radar, you know it was top shelf. So those are two things I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. I mean, I'll quickly just throw in there, I am looking forward to this 1,000-day celebration that's coming up on Friday. That's going to be very, 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 very interesting. I am me, like a lot of other people, is very invested in this story, and just when you just think when they first started off, it was Jay, the one that was having these issues, and eventually as Jimmy comes up, he's like, come on, man, this is the tribal chief, fall in line. And now it's totally the reverse of that now. Like I just never seen any of that coming. Everything is just, it's just amazing. So I'm really interested to see what's gonna happen, man. I'm excited for that. That's what I'm looking forward to. Let me go over to you, Matt Michaels. How about you?
The next big thing they're going to be building to is London with the the Money in the Bank. So, which as of right now, there's no real favorites you can pick out to who's going to win that. I'm interested to see what they're going to do now that Asuka is the Raw champion. But
you talked about it last week.
Well, she's still on SmackDown, technically, right? And Rhea's on Raw. I just don't know what the fuck's going on with that. So I'm interested to see if they do something, because it kind of makes no sense. The other thing is where do they go with Seth? Having that belt now. But one of the people that kind of gets overlooked right now is Austin Theory. And Austin Theory is probably that person who eventually gets that championship and becomes the person to chase as the heel on Raw.
Can I ask you a question? Money in the Bank. I've been hearing a lot of murmurings. Logan Paul. How would you feel if you won Money in the Bank?
I'd be fine with it.
Would you? I'd be irritated.
Hey, they gave it to Otis.
Yeah, you got a point. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, Matt Cardona won it, and then he lost it the next day after WrestleMania. So, it doesn't matter. Again, some of these things, there's too much investment put into what it is, but the honest answer is Logan Paul going to give me an entertaining match against whoever champion he goes against? Most likely.
And being that he won't be on the show weekly, you don't have to see that briefcase all the time, and to be something you literally forget about. And when it does pop up, you're gonna be like, "Oh fuck, I forgot he had that."
He could literally come out of nowhere,
right?
After months of no one thinking about it, cash it in and become the champion, which would be fucking great. People would go ape shit.
They would be upset. They'd be upset. Like, I guarantee it. I can see him now come out with some fucking and then win and then be drinking some Prime drinks like Snow and Cold, but instead of beer, they're throwing Prime energy drinks, which I had one, by the way. It's actually pretty good. No sugar.
Oh, I drink those all the time, man. They're great.
I never had it until today. You know who I want to see Money Break, and I'll leave it to be LA Knight.
Well, that is not a bad possibility. They really can't deny what's going on with him right now.
Right.
He's over everywhere. So and he can and that's the whole thing. If you give that to a guy like him, then you don't have to worry about that briefcase being quote unquote cashed in. Where's it going to go? Mm-hmm. You could just have him come out with the briefcase, cut promos all the time, and literally just kind of essentially get the briefcase over, which would be fabulous.
Yeah.
And on the women's end, now that we see Zoe kind of,
I was just going to say it.
Mm-hmm. Might see that
100%. 100%. Man, we thinking alike today, man. It's kind of scary.
All right. Ooh, that's a tough one for me, man. I guess I would have to say Knights of Champion, but the Under Siege was fucking right there too, man. It's almost, to me, almost like a really good fucking tie. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I mean, yeah, never mind. I'm gonna give it. I will give it to Knights of Champions, but it's a tough one because Under Siege is right up under there as well. What you got, Simon?
Man, you know what? I'm feeling what you're saying with Under Siege, because I've heard a lot of great things. I didn't get a chance to watch it because I have access. However, on my side, very close between NXT Battlegrounds and Night of Champions, almost to the points to where when I was thinking about each match and I looked at other people who watched the match and did their rating, we all came to the same conclusion. The slight edge did go to Night of Champions, but man, kudos to NXT Battlegrounds, because if you think about it, Night of Champions was Saturday, I guess. Yeah. And then Battlegrounds, that primetime Sunday, that it used to be the spot, man. So, but yeah, edge goes to Night of Champions. Really, I don't know how many years we are in with these Jeddah contracts. I'm not sure what it is, but I can tell you right now, the one thing that I did like about that show was the sentiment, especially with Sami Zayn. And one thing that popped into my head was Rocky when he faced the Dragoff And at the end, he said, "If I could change, you could change." It was that type of thing because you know how long it was publicized that Sammy wouldn't go, and I liked how to come to that point. We can all kind of change. So I say that maybe one day, Impact, you will watch one of the shows, and I will never tell you what to believe in, but I will say that a lot of things changed that I'm seeing now.
Well, let me say this. I mean, to be completely honest with you, I watched the show. I just didn't watch it here. I just went
I'm shocked.
I went elsewhere to watch it.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, anyways, let me go over to you, man, Michaels. How this so far? Two of us kind of got two shows right neck and neck. What do you?
Yeah. No, I mean NXT and Night of Champions were very close. Probably go with Night of Champions, but what's even more interesting to me is that Night of Champions or NXT, Battleground, and Double or Nothing going head to head, right?
Yeah.
Different in terms of Double or Nothing is an actual pay-per-view, okay? So people are having to pay money for that. You're going to get people who are going to watch NXT who bought the pay-per-view for Double or Nothing and still can watch NXT, later tonight, tomorrow, whenever, because they get Peacock, right? But what was fascinating is they started at the same time. And as of 8:41 Pacific time, that fucking pay-per-view is still going.
Yep.
NXT put on a show that was solid and fucking stacked in 2.5 hours.
Yep.
Well, I know you went to Dynamite on Wednesday, but from some of our folks that on the show and other people I talked to who went to Dynamite, apparently that bad boy, I guess they started around
It started at
4-ish.
Started
and then I heard it went up to almost like 9 or 10.
Because they did ROH, then they did Dynamite, then they did Rampage, then they did, I think, Dark, and then they did ROH.
And I heard people were just kind of bouncing after a little bit after show. Like it was just, I mean, it's a long time to have to sit there and watch a lot of wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Not only that, but you're also talking the quality,
Well, that too.
You don't have the storylines, that's one of their problems. You don't have the storylines, you don't have the investment. Even with the WWE, if you were going to SmackDown and then they were doing 205 Live, it's like, oh, I'm getting the fuck out of here, because who cared? There were no real stories there. So only a percentage of the audience is going to stay. So it's just, that's the thing. Now, what's even more frightening is if you've seen pictures of the pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, hard camera side, whew.
Yeah.
I mean, T-Mobile, it's sad. It's like Double or Nothing for the 3 times that they did it out here, 2-3 times, whatever it is now.
Yeah.
It's like the third time.
Yeah, it's the third time, right? So last year it sold well.
I went to
Can I be honest? Can I be honest though? Other than me holding my reservations until talking to Sin City Steve or watching it myself, I will say I did think coming in, the timing was not good. You had a lot of stuff popping off here in Vegas, even outside of the wrestling that was happening.
Yeah, but the problem is that they established this show as a yearly show on Memorial Day weekend. So it's not that the timing was bad. Look at the card.
It was definitely devoid and not as stacked. I mean, if I were to compare it even with last year, yes, I agree with you on that one. And just kind of looking at just the highlights, because I've been looking at Bleacher Report just to kind of see who won, and then I'll watch. The grades don't look too good at the beginning part of the show at all. Towards the end, seems like it got better. That's just their opinion. I mean, they're going to have to do something, man, because I got to be honest with you. When I do watch it after we get done with our show, the expectation is up here because of Night of Champions and NXT Battlegrounds.
Yep. And not to mention, for those who watched Under Siege. I mean, yeah, it's up there too. So what can I say? Guys, that is our wrestling talk. Thanks for hanging out. One quick show notes for those who do listen to wrestling talk. I will be away from the show for about a good month with a lot going on, but of course, you will still be in great hands with the rest of the team: Matt Michaels, Simon Street, Sin City Steve, and there may even be some special guests that roll through. So please make sure you continue to support the podcast as you do. All right. And if you're watching this live, prepare for our next podcast going live with 3 Count, 3 good topics. You probably saw what some of those topics were. We are going to talk about Sami Zayn being out for Night of Champions. We also going to talk about
being out. Did I miss something?
Well,
did he come out in Saudi Arabia?
I'm sorry, say that again.
did he come out in Saudi Arabia?
Oh,
he came out, but he ain't come out like that. Not to my knowledge. Last time I checked, he's very happily married, so I guess it's well established who he is. But you know,
yeah, but you don't speak Arabic. You don't know what he said on the microphone.
No, hold on. I put on subtitles when I played it back. I do have it on my Apple TV. He introduced him in Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
So, but I did play it back to see if it would work with the subtitles, and it did.
All right, let me just get out of here. So, we'll see you next week. If you're watching the show, guys, we'll see you on 3 Count next. All right, take care. Happy wrestling.